My name is Evelyn Little. I'm the Director of Business First and Employer Responsiveness at Swindon College.
Hi, I'm Sinclair Brown. I'm Sales and Marketing Director of Green Labyrinth Training.
I'm Emily Griffin and I'm the Lifestyle and Digital Campaigns Manager for Total Guide 2 Limited.
I am Paddy Bradley, Swindon Borough Council, Head of Economy, Skills and Property Development.
At Swindon College, we are absolutely committed to working with schools on the apprenticeship programme, not just for the children in schools, but parents. It's essential that we educate parents as well. Apprenticeships have changed dramatically. It's the future, and now the opportunities for the youngsters at school are that they can go through a level 2 apprenticeship, a level 3, now higher apprenticeships, and just introduced new degree apprenticeships. So a whole new different pathway for school leavers, and we have to get that message into schools. And I know we're working very, very hard with our LEP group to ensure that the message is getting across. But not just school leavers, it's parents as well need to know that this is a whole new pathway and can lead to higher education while the youngsters are in a position, in a workplace, still earning and not costing them money either.
We're there to help. We're there to provide the information, the advice and the guidance that they might need. And that's from things like, how does an apprenticeship work? What sort of incentives are available? What funding's available? How can we deliver these apprenticeships for you? How can we advertise your apprenticeship? What other services do we provide, like screening, interviewing and the recruitment of young candidates?
Green Labyrinth are a fantastic company that help local and small organisations with their apprenticeship process from start to finish. As a small company, you don't always have lots of time to be interviewing, to be screening. And when you've got an apprenticeship that you're advertising for, and it's quite a popular apprenticeship, you're going to get a volume of potential candidates applying. So they were fantastic for us because we were able to sit with them, speak to them, tell them what it was we need. They are then able to help go through the applications on our behalf with no financial implication. So we didn't have to pay extra for that service. That was something that they offered us. They then helped us to screen those to say, right, who's worth for what you want, who's worth you speaking to. We would then go through them again together and you would be able to pick from those, right, these guys, fantastic, this one's not quite got, enough in this field or maybe they're just not quite the right fit. From there, they then conducted telephone interviews for us. So they really did help us along the way.
Consider apprenticeships as a viable option for your career for the future. You know, so many schools talk about A-levels and only think about A-level streams, but there are so many young people that are considering apprenticeships now in view of the fact that going to university now costs a great deal of money and potentially a great deal of debt. So apprenticeships offer a viable option for that without the debt, so you earn as you learn and you come out with a qualification after 2, 3 or 4 years as well.
For an employer, the benefits of an apprenticeship are substantial. Initially, they can be paid a grant. If they're a company that's employs 50 people or less, they can access a grant of £1,500 per apprentice with a limit of up to 5 to help with any extra mentoring or any time that any other employee is going to work with them. What we have in our group, in our apprenticeship provision within the college, is somebody that's called a training coordinator. Now we have these for all sectors, so for business admin, engineering, construction. That training coordinator is somebody that works with the employer, and initially they'll be the person that goes out and meets with the employer, finds out what their needs are, what they want, and then will help with the recruitment process of an individual. We will advertise the job vacancy on the website. They will sift through the CVs and find the best one to match that company because they'll know the workplace. And then we would only probably ask the employer, the small employer, to interview 2 or 3 because time's of the essence for them. We actually pull it into a triangle. You have the employer, the training coordinator and the youngster, the apprentice. And that's tight, that's very tight. And that training coordinator throughout the duration of their apprenticeship visits the workplace, reviews them every 8 weeks, talks to the employer asks the employer to grade us on the support and the provision that they've been given. I don't think that employers think there's frameworks in their particular sector. So we need to educate employers that actually in most sectors, in fact mostly all sectors now, there is frameworks. What we do, as soon as we talk with the employer and find out exactly what it is they want, we actually go then and identify the frameworks. And then what we do is we talk with the curriculum areas in most instances, because what we have to ensure is that if we place that youngster into that workplace, that they can cover all the standards. And in some cases you can't. And some of the very, very small plumbing, to give you an example, the small plumbing companies, it's difficult to cover some of the aspects. So what we do is we work with some of the larger plumbing companies and ask if they would become involved in helping to take the opportunity to allow us to assess that plumbing, doing something in their workplace.
It definitely is a win-win for all the participants. It's win because it's sustainable. That's what I like about it. People learn on the job, and my background is in teaching. I know, for example, that you learn better by experience, and if there's a reason for why you're doing things, you learn even better. You learn when there's a richness about it, when there's a reason, when there's a purpose. And what more is a purpose than to learn a trade, to learn a career, to learn a skill?
I think the value of apprenticeships today are that apprenticeships are the future, and the government's laid down that strategy and it's very, very clear to us. What that means that if apprenticeships grow in the workplace, which they are substantially, it will mean that the UK PLC is trained to the same standard and we won't have differences in competencies in workplace. So the more apprenticeships that we can introduce to more employers, they can be assured that they've got the same training, they've got the same competence, and it will ensure sustainability in their workplace. We probably have about 94% of apprentices that are kept on by that employer at the end of their apprenticeship, which speaks volumes, because you would hope that at the very beginning you've got that criteria matched to that individual, whether it's a small employer or a large employer.
Swindon is a growing town. It's a growing town for population, it's a growing town for its economy. And when you look at the strengths and weaknesses of Swindon, some of the weaknesses are physical, what it looks like. What's its amazing strength are its people. They're resilient, they are used to being in work and used to being out of work as well. That means the attitude to learning and the attitude to work is hugely positive. So apprenticeships are a means by which Swindon as a whole can grow. The residents can acquire new skills, they're employable, and that will draw in new businesses and mean that Swindon at the moment, we've got about 3/4 of the people who work in Swindon actually live in Swindon. That, believe it or not, is quite unusual. We get most places you have a lot of people travelling in. We want to make it 100%. We want to have such a highly skilled workforce in Swindon that there's no reason, there's no gap. You've got to compete hard to get a job in Swindon because the workforce are brilliant.